Loading up the stream, guys. Should be live here in 1 second. This is the mentorship team call. Good evening, Tristar Athletes. Coach Cliff, we are live here. Welcome to 2019 and excited to chat you guys up. A new year, a new season, new goals, and lots for us to accomplish. So we have tons of races coming up for 2019 that I'm pretty pumped about. We have our 10 team races that we're all going to be going to this year and supporting, as well as our camps. So lots of good things to look forward to. Tonight's topic for you guys is going to be talking about off-season racing and what that actually means. So yes, we race in the off-season. Yes, there is benefit for it, and we're going to discuss a little bit about what that means and how you do that. So as part of the mentorship team, this is your weekly call to ask questions, and you're going to text them into me. And if you like something, give it a like on your keyboard down there below. If you have a question, just reach out and ask. This is your chance to find out questions you've had about your training or preparing for instance, a different distance that you're doing this year or a goal that you have in particular. So what's going on this evening? Marshall, hi Denise, good to see you guys. Happy New Year to you. What's shaking? Go ahead and just pop in some questions there for me. Don't feel like you have to hold back or wait for anything. All right, so starting off, what's going on? I think I saw Steve. Steve just got on the line there too. Brittany, what's happening? Happy New Year to you. Brittany's going to be at our camp. Thanks for the note about coming this year. Really excited to have you at Oceanside. Really excellent. Give that a like and a bunch of thumbs up. Okay, guys, so talking a little bit about the off season and where you guys are at. I really like for our athletes to be engaged in the off season, and I think that we do a lot of very calculated training here, and to do some sort of ad hoc racing in the wintertime is a really good idea. And it can take the form of many different ways that we do this type of racing. But I pulled up some examples here. These are some of our athletes who are doing some pretty awesome things over the wintertime to keep themselves engaged. Right? We know that the season's very long, and if you throw in some short, fun, kind of ad hoc, different races, it's going to keep your brain, stimulated, and your training that much more enhanced. So it doesn't have to be anything you're even that familiar with, and in fact, you actually can go in a little bit underprepared. These are short races, though. So to give you an example of a couple of these races that I'm thinking of, and I'm going to post this article for you guys to check out and to read as well. They would be things like, and these are things that our athletes are doing this winter alone, as well as into the spring. Fat tire biking, super cool. In the snow, fat tire biking. Somewhere between 10K and 40K is a good distance. We have snowshoeing. We have ski-mo, which is vertical skiing, and then you ski down, and then you climb and hike again, and then you ski down. Another really cool one. So we've got cross-country skiing. We have adventure racing. We have any just kind of random local 5Ks and 10Ks to help improve your running speed. Staircase race. I did many years ago the Empire State Building Run-Up, which is a super cool race. But that's something that's very short, very hard, but you can go and do it as just kind of good training. So let's see, next up, cyclocross racing and indoor triathlons are fantastic. Mountain bike racing, guys. You can do an open water swim, for instance, if you're traveling somewhere to get away for the winter, go to the Bahamas or something like that. There's so many different cool things that you can do. Bike time trials, another awesome one. During the season, it doesn't have to be swim, bike, run. It doesn't have to be run, bike, run. It could just be bike as a time trial, or maybe you want to do a bike race, or maybe you want a Zwift bike race this winter, right? Their trains are leaving the station in Zwift all the time. So I will pause there now that I've given you guys a full kind of rundown of the different types of races that people are doing right now to keep themselves busy, keep themselves engaged. There's no pressure to these races, guys. They're just to raise and elevate your total fitness level and to have some fun with it, right? It's really important to let your brain kind of unwind it, and those races actually give you a big bang for the FTP buck. They raise your thresholds, which is really cool, and is a reason why we do it. So, Steve, Happy New Year to you, kicking it off. Steve says, very timely topic. I have a trail half marathon on Saturday, but notice you're starting to build into my plan. Should I adjust anything considering the race? Okay, so if you have a trail half marathon for Saturday, we do a soft taper into it, right? I think that you can go ahead and look at the day before being much lighter leading in. Let's not go too crazy. Let's make sure that you're feeling a bit rested, but not much more than that. So about 24 hours rest, Steve, heading into that is all we'll really need to freshen you up. And it's really a little more critical what happens on the back side of that, meaning I want you to make sure that you come out of that okay and that you're not trying to run that next week a super time. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So yeah, go a little bit lighter on the running on the backside so that you don't have an issue. Pretty much all of the heart rate work about 6 to 10 days after a half marathon like that have to be a little bit reduced, and you have to be a little careful on any hillier kind of terrain that you're running on, okay? So great question, Steve. All right, so Brittany says, I had an FTP run last week and my Garmin did not correctly calculate my pace. I was on a treadmill and ran much faster than my Garmin calculated. Can you determine my FTP from heart rate alone, or do I need to do the test again? Don't worry, you don't need to do the test again. With bad data like that, I do need to know somehow that the pace was accurate. So if the treadmill was accurate, we need to go with that. If the Garmin was accurate, we need to go with that. But we do need to have something in place of that. So do me a favor, and let's see, you say, yeah, heart rate will be fine. We can use the heart rate for that. And if you ran faster than your Garmin calculated, you just need to know how much faster that was. So we got to go by what the treadmill was telling us, okay? Good evening, Liz. What's going on with you? Happy New Year. Hope things are well with you. Welcome again to the Tristar team, and glad you're here. Okay. So we've got 5 of you guys on the line. What other questions do you guys have this evening? Now that we're into 2019, we're moving the dial. We've set our goals. It's time to start and plan out and execute. So let's see, some other kind of things that you can think about with these, off-season races is, I'm going to use an example of one kind of race that we don't like to see in the off-season, which is actually a marathon. Marathons are really not very good at all because they are so specific in terms of their volume of running that you need to do to successfully do them, that they're kind of a hiatus. So if you're a triathlete, it's not really a good direction to move because it takes time away from your bike. So we don't want to see you do that. And it really means that you have to also do a lot more recovery from some of the longer runs. So you would almost have to go into it a little bit undergunned. You can't kind of have your cake and eat it too kind of a thing. And a lot of times people need to work their bike in the off season. They need to really push that bike and get faster in that way. So okay, let's go back to your questions. I see a couple popping up coming through here. Denise says, amino acids, add them during training or not? I would say after. Yes, you can add them to your food if you want to. Though I am a big believer in trying to eat everything, holistically, organically, minimally processed to get all of the things that you need. If you supplement, it's because you really are time crunched. For instance, like when we're training, we know we have to have engineered foods because we need that energy to sustain us as we're out there training. So that's important. Brittany says the Garmin was not accurate. I made notes in my Training Peaks calendar. Okay, got it. So in that case, then you just need to let me know what those values were, and then I will go in and adjust the FTP there for you when I update the block, okay? So thank you for letting me know. Steve says, if I had to choose my scheduled 1-hour ride, would you prefer the day before or after the trail race? I would say if you wanted to have anything of quality, and if that bike's a quality bike, then you need to put it before the race. If it's not a material bike and not one that's really a key bike, then what I would say is put it after the race and do it quite a bit easier. Okay, that would be my suggestion. So Brittany says, how important are the swim drills? Yeah, swim drills. Depends how much faster you want to be in the water ever. Swim drills are very important. And for a lot of newer triathletes, even to intermediate and up sometimes to advanced, drills are extremely critical because they help you preserve that form as you start to get into the harder sets, those harder main sets. If you're fading and you can't hold best form, then you're going to really, really start to slow down. So drills are extremely important. They're not sexy or not cool like, some of the cool workouts that you have that are, of different intensities and different terrain and things like that. But they are the things, just like strength training, that are foundational, stretching, that keep everything on the rails when you guys are trying to get your body and asking your body to do something much more in the future. So it's kind of like, they're not the cool factor there, Brittany, but they certainly are the important factor. I hope that makes sense. Good evening, Mike Hawk. Happy New Year to you. Poor Mike. Mike took a pretty nasty spill on his bike recently and unfortunately hasn't been able to train very much. But we do want to give a nice shout out, mentorship team shout out to Mike Hawk and Alana Gray, who got engaged. So pretty exciting stuff to have those guys engaged. So congrats to you guys. Super, super happy. When is the date? Because maybe we'll all be there live virtually. Okay. Liz, what's going on? Liz says strength training, legs training, or any strength training in the gym before or after or same day as swimming. Not sure I completely follow there, Liz, but strength training it should be done in the day that Coach Megan has put it for you on the calendar. However, I would suggest on swimming days it's probably easier because generally swims tend to go where gyms are. So yeah. Brittany says, I'm drowning when I'm doing the fist drills. So then I want you to use a pull buoy pad, okay? Go ahead and grab a pull buoy and get yourself a little bit higher up in the water so you don't drown, okay? We don't need you drowning. We need you to stay higher up in the water, and that will allow you to focus on the mechanics up front when you're swimming with a fist. Yes. Alana, you just tuned in, but we just wished you, and well, we didn't wish you. We said congratulations on your engagement to you and Mike. Wonderful, wonderful news. So very, very exciting stuff. And I guess the cat's out of the bag too. Lots of new beginnings for this year. We are having a baby, my wife and I, in 2019. So that's kind of exciting. Our first, and it'll be a baby girl. So pretty cool stuff too. Yes, thank you, Denise. Yep, definitely good news. All around 2019, already off to a big start for sure. Okay, guys. So moving back into the topic for tonight, I want to make sure that you guys are kind of getting a grasp on what I'm talking about with these off-season races. I hope that they make sense. What I really do like about them is that they also tend to pull you through the season. From now, January 1st, until the summer months, or at least the spring months, is a bit of a lull. And so it's really important for you guys to be able to have something that fills that space in between just for fun, that gets you to train. Because it's not that you're not motivated. You guys are very motivated. I know that. It's more about having some sort of purpose to build up towards, something to look forward to, because the doldrums of training indoors and in the winter can be a little bit hard. So these races are completely freeing. They're fun. Afterwards, you're just going to love them. I will tell you about one of my absolute favorite off-season winter races that I did, which was called the Hike-a-Thon. And it snowed about, 5 or 6 inches, and it was up at Harriman State Park many years ago. And we had to carry 10% of our body weight with a backpack. And basically, we had a partner, and our partner had to be able to finish the line, with us. So it was a team effort. And I had never snowshoed before, so it was blazing a trail and snowshoes. And I wound up having to carry a pack for my partner so we could catch up to the lead group. And it came down to a sprint finish. Now, this is a half marathon, so we've been going through the snow for almost 4 hours. And we came to the end, and I forgot to hand off my pack to my partner, and I'm running full speed as hard as I absolutely can. My heart rate's through the roof, and I fell face down in the snow just before the finish line, and all the kitty litter that I was carrying in the backpack went right over me like this. And I've never gone harder in my entire life. And oh yes, it is called the hike-a-thong, which means that you're wearing a thong. So I'm face down in the snow, kitty litter all over the ground, and I'm wearing a thong. So that is quite a visualization. But to this day, I do remember it because I did no training for it, and I just went in and did it and had a lot of fun, had a blast. I was well prepared enough to do it. I had been doing enough to do that. And that's the minimum I believe that you guys need to have is, enough base to do some sort of short distance type of ad hoc race. So that's my my story on that race. Okay, let's go back to some questions. Let's see here. Denise says, I'm out of commission until mid-February. Is early May or June too soon? Yeah, mid-February, that's, you're going to need probably all of March to get back up and running, Denise, from your injury. Poor Denise, she fell on the ice and unfortunately hurt herself and has to have some time off on the sidelines there. I think that it would probably give yourself a little bit more time if you could say wait till June, mid to end of June. I think would be probably the best kind of dip in, put your toe back into the water to get started again without too much consequence. Because you don't want to rush it, and especially if the rehab takes a little bit longer, I think it would be better that way. All right, Mike says, yeah, so listen, Mike, your fitness is dropping off. Mike's complaining because he's had some time off. You just got engaged, buddy. Just let it go. It'll come back. Don't worry about it. The fitness will go, but it'll come back as well too. Fortunately, you don't lose all that leg strength. All that hard work is not going away, so don't stress about it, man. Yeah, and so for the visualization, yeah, Brittany, it wasn't actually I was wearing just a thong. It was a thong over my entire, I had a winter suit on, so not quite that dramatic and scary. That would be pretty terrible. Alana says, I'm trying to get the courage up to get back in the pool. Open to 70.3 suggestions later in the season. Okay, I'm going to drop in this link here for you to check out some half Ironman races on our site. And I just texted that in there. So check a look at those for late season. I think that's a good starting point for you. I guess it really just depends, well, one, when you guys are having your wedding. Two, my suggestion is how much do you want to travel? I mean, there's so many questions. It's kind of like asking me what should I have for breakfast. So I don't know. You're going to have to kind of give us a little more on that one. Okay, guys. Other questions coming through. This is great. You guys have a lot of questions for you tonight. I really like to see everybody back from their holiday adventures, and hopefully everybody's feeling like they're ready to kind of put themselves to work. That's usually the way I find it. January 1st is like hit the ground running and get in there and start to work on these workouts. They pay dividends, right? The more that you guys do now, the more it's a ripple effect. It's going to hit you later in the summer when you can't even believe you get out on the bike in the spring and you're riding and you're like, wow, I can't believe how fast and how fit and strong I feel. So really want you guys to be able to have that. So keep your focus high now. That's why I'm introducing this subject right now about finding some of these funky off-season races. Yes, Mike's got a new mantra, hashtag New Year, New Me. I like it. Shannon, what's going on with you? How are you? Happy New Year to you. Hope all is well with you out there in the cold. What else we got, guys? Any other questions you have for me this evening? As I mentioned, I'm going to be posting all of these this topic. This is actually a blog topic on our coach's site here that you guys all have access to. So please do take a look at it, take a read on it. There's a couple other new different pieces that I've posted in on the site for you guys to check out as well. Let's pull these up under the athletes only, all resources. Let's see what else we've got going here. Yeah, I've posted some information on math calculations, running with power. We're going to talk about that again in the future. I think that I give myself a C minus on that one. I did not do a good job on that one. I think I want to redo that one and give you guys a little more intel on that. We've talked about the top 10 mistakes made in the off season, staying warm for triathlons, staying warm for swimming. There's a lot of content here for you guys to go through to help you out along the way. And certainly any topics every week that you guys want me to cover, I'm happy to do so. I'm also happy to take a dive into your each individual Training Peaks account and look at what you guys have going on. I love getting these questions that pop up throughout the course of the week. For instance, Mike telling me he's out of shape, but he's not. He's just, he's now engaged. It's all good, man. Take some time, take some pressure off. Alana, you're getting back into it, which is wonderful too. Let's see. Jess has got some comments in there, nothing too major. Shannon, been super consistent. Keep up the great work. Got lots of green coming in on your end. Thank you for that. Let's see, other comments. Yep, Brittany, I've got all your FTP work and your comments that you left me here too for that, and I will be adjusting based on what you told me the treadmill pace was for that workout, for that session. I know you did your FTP test, on a stationary bike and with clip-ins or without clip-ins, so I think that was pretty challenging too. All right, so Brittany says, do I need to add resistance to my rides on my Wahoo Smart Trainer? So that's a complicated question because your Wahoo, it depends how you're controlling power, right? So if you're controlling the power with your computer and you're generating that from the workouts that we give you, then it should be controlling the resistance for you. But you need to make sure that your FTP, your functional threshold power, is set correctly in whatever software is that's driving the smart trainer. So it's not a very smart trainer if it doesn't know what to do, and therefore it means you have to have accurate your functional threshold power in the software, and you have to be able to load up the workout. So it just depends. But yes, certainly want you to add resistance to your bike trainer if you don't feel like you're getting any. That wouldn't be very good at all. Hopefully you can maybe dive into that a little bit more. Shannon says, having a hard time going to the pool when it's so freaking cold outside. I understand. I feel you there. I will say that one of the easier ways to do it is to go to the gym and go to the sauna, go to the steam room, and just chill out on the water a little bit, because that will get your core temperature up, and you'll feel a heck of a lot better once you're nice and warm. It's not a whole lot of fun to go and do a swim when your core temperature is cold, and so for that reason, I'm probably going to also just send you my article here about cold water swimming. Let's see here, cold water swim. All right, guys, there you go. And I think you probably have seen this article too, but I think it's also helpful to read the same, because I've never been a fan of cold water. I like it nice and warm and toasty myself. But that article right there that I just texted through to you guys should help you, get a sense for how to keep warm and how to feel comfortable in the water. Because I can remember many years living in New York City and not wanting to jump in the freezing cold water, but I knew to get better as a triathlete, I had to swim quite a bit. So I would jump down to the YMCA and on 14th Street and swim down there because they had this super warm pool. It was like almost 90 degrees. I loved it. Other people hate that, but there are ways to warm yourself up before these swims, guys, that you can take advantage of and not feel nearly as cold. Okay, great questions tonight, Shannon. Nice job. Great questions. Let's see. Any other questions out there, guys, that are coming through at this point? I know we have Kevin and Yasi that are traveling right now. They're both over in Europe, which is nice for them, and we're missing them this week. But we got lots of good things to be grateful for this early part of the new year, guys. I want you to really stay on top of your training as best you can right now. I know that whatever happened in December, wipe it clean, move on into 2019, and start executing those workouts. Get them done. Get them done. Okay. Alana says, can I be that person swimming in a wetsuit in a pool? Kind of kidding, but also kind of serious. That's me. I'm definitely that guy. I swim in the wetsuit. I hate being cold. I'd rather peel the wetsuit off halfway through the swim, so I'm right there with you. In fact, if you have a throwaway wetsuit, just keep swimming in it until the chlorine absolutely shreds it to bits. So I'm right there with you. Totally get it. Follow the article. I think you'll find it helpful. Okay, mentorship team, any other particular questions you have before I sign us off tonight? We'll make sure that I covered everything you got here. Brittany, when I hang up, I will be updating your FTP, as I mentioned. And yeah, Brittany, the Y on 14th Street, the bath water of 14th Street. It might as well be a New York City bath, I guess. I don't know. All right, guys. So cheers to you in 2019. Let's make it a great one. We've got lots of fun and exciting things happening at Tristar Athletes. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're part of the team. And have a great night, okay? Stick to leaving me some messages on Facebook, on our Facebook team page, so I know any topics that you want me to cover for next week. Okay, guys? All right. I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks a lot, mentorship team.